Right, this is my review of A Nightmare on Elm Street. Now, I don't need to tell you any of you the plot of this film because it's quite self-explanatory. A bunch of teenagers, sex-crazed teenagers, have nightmares about this character called Freddy Krueger, who basically kills them when he kills them in their dreams. He actually kills them for real, and it stars Robert Englund and Heather Langenkamp. If that's her name right, I can't remember. Heather Langenkamp, John Saxon, and Ronnie Blakely, and Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger. This was also Johnny Depp's first film, and it's a great horror film. And as I say, I don't really need to explain the plot to you, any of you, because if you've seen it, you already know the plot. So yeah. So I'm not going to delve into all that, and of course the girl Nancy wins, and because she's not afraid of, well, I don't want to reveal too much, but you've got to watch the film. So anyway, A Nightmare on Elm Street is a 1984 American supernatural slasher film that was written and directed by Wes Craven and produced by Robert Shaye. The original stars Heather Langenkamp, John Saxon, Renee Blakely, and Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger. He also starred in the hit sci-fi show V, the miniseries, V, The Final Battle, and V, the series, where he played the alien Willy, and he helped the Resistance in the end. This was also Johnny Depp's first film. Craven filmed A Nightmare on Elm Street on an estimated budget of $1.1 million and was met with both success from the audience and critics alike. And it is also considered one of the greatest horror films of all time. Can't even read my own writing. Yes. It also had spawned 6 sequels, a television series, and a Freddy vs Jason film. It also had, in 2010, a remake made of it. It's basically the same film, although they go into a bit more detail about how the parents chased after Freddy Krueger, and whereas the first one doesn't. But in the television series of the first episode does go into detail of how Freddy Krueger was captured and all that. So yeah. This was also the first film that the New Line Cinema actually produced. It's also been nicknamed Nightmare on Elm Street. So yeah, this was also the film that built. This was also nicknamed the film that Freddy built, because they also went on to direct. They also went on to produce some of the Friday the 13th as well. Sorry, I forget where I am now. It uses some of the same themes as Halloween, sex-crazed teenagers, and also used some of the same tropes as Halloween uses, or some of the same tropes as the low-budget 1970 and 80 films. So yeah, I forget where I am now. The film's villain is drawn from Wes Craven's own early life. One night, young Wes Craven saw an elderly man walking on the side path outside his house, outside his window, the window of his house. The old man stopped, startled Wes Craven, looked at him, startled him, and then moved on again. So this was the inspiration for Freddy Krueger. Initially, Craven wanted Freddy Krueger to be a child molester, but he changed that because there were a few high-profile cases going on around the California area, and he didn't really want people to accuse him of exploiting exploiting it at all, like the high cases. So he changed it to a child killer. For explaining Krueger's nature, he states that Freddy is the worst of parenthood, the worst of childhood, the dirty old man, the adult Wes Craven, the adult that wants all children to die rather than helping them to prosper and to grow and to help them and everything. So he's the worst of worst. So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go into much detail about the plot because, as I've said, explained a little bit of the plot earlier on, and there's not really much more you can say. I mean, the first three films are actually very good, but then it started to lose its way a little bit after the fourth, fifth and the sixth. Freddy vs Jason is pretty decent. The remake, it's like Red Dragon and Manhunter, whereas Manhunter came out first with Brian Cox as Hannibal Lecter. Then Anthony Hopkins took over from Silence of the Lambs, and then remade Manhunter into, called it Red Dragon, which it originally was called. So basically the film is like word for word perfect, and I'm just told differently. So really it didn't need to have a remake anyway. I mean, the original A Nightmare on Elm Street, like Manhunter, stands by, even if it was made by a different director and as a different cast. The originals are always better. So there's not really much more you can say, really. And so yes, I don't really understand why Hollywood has to remake films. Alright, I mean, I kind of understand why they they redid Red Dragon to include Anthony Hopkins, so that because he was in Silence of the Lambs and Hannibal, and so yeah, so I understand why they wanted to remake Manhunter and then rename it Red Dragon, which was the original story. So I'm going offline here. So yeah, I understand that, but like A Nightmare on Elm Street, like Manhunter, A Nightmare on Elm Street is a product of its time. It is low budget. It's just a brilliant film, and like I say, this was Johnny Depp's first film, and Robert Englund, I think, following on from the success of V, wanted to do something different, and so yeah, it was actually Mark Hamill who suggested. I think it was. I'm not too sure about that, so don't quote me on that. But actually, no. Actually, it was Robert Englund who told Mark Hamill about the role of Star Wars. So yeah, no, I got that all muddled up. So I do apologise for that. So yeah, there really isn't much to say or much to tell about this. It's just a good old-fashioned horror movie. And Wes Craven has made so many other films like this. The Hills Have Eyes. He was the original director on that. Scream, Deadly Blessings, which I haven't seen myself. I actually saw a few months ago a trailer for Deadly Blessings, which stars Ernest Borgnine and Sharon Stone. And when I saw it, it reminded me a little bit of The Omen. I don't know why, but the trailer, the whole feel of the whole feel of the film. So yeah. So yes, that's A Nightmare on Elm Street. That's my review of it. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm sorry if I got muddled up a little bit earlier and talking about other films as well. I hope you don't mind that. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this. And yes, next week I'll be doing another extra video, maybe trying some new other things. And next week my review will be The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which Toby Hope, who directed Poltergeist, directed this one. I actually, if I'm honest, I actually haven't seen this one, but and I'm not sure where to get the original. But anyway, that's that one. So, hope you've enjoyed this, and I hope to see you all again soon next week. So, ta-ta for now. Bye-bye.